All right, welcome to the Joyful Life Project, everyone. We're kind of doing a holiday edition here. I've still got my Santa hat on, or maybe if I'm being really honest, I have it on for the first time this holiday. But I'm here with Jill Whalen, and we're just going to have a really quick conversation. But first, Jill, do you want to say a few words about who you are? You don't
I'm
have
just,
to.
I have, yeah, I don't have a lot to say these days. I don't even know who I am anymore because I'm retired. I mean, as I was telling you, earlier, I used to be a pioneer in the SEO industry before it was even called SEO, but I retired from that in about 2013, I think, and that was right about when I founded the three principles, which you
Right.
and I talk about, and so I sort of was writing about my insights at that time for up till about, I don't know. I put out my book. I have a book called "Victim of Thought: Seen Through the Illusion of Anxiety." So I
Mhm.
put that out, I think, around 2017, and then I don't know. Soon after that, I just ran out of stuff to write about. I stopped getting insights, and I used to be where I had to write. I just had to write, like I couldn't not write,
Right.
and now I can't write to save my life. It seems I just nothing comes. So I'm just retired now. I have a 21-month-old grandson that I live not too far from, so we see him and play with him, and I'm just living a joyful life.
Nice. Well, and that's maybe that last sentence kind of sums up why I asked you to do this. I met Jill through the online 3P community, probably in and around 2016-ish. I'm guessing. I have no real idea. But sort of saw you through connections to Dominic Scafidi and then through Amir's group. Amir Karkudi's group, the infamous Amir. So we're here to ask two really simple questions. And the first question is is simply, what does living a joyful life mean to you? And we'll ask that question and let you riff for a few minutes, Jill. So what does living a joyful life mean to you, Jill?
I guess something that I want to say about that, because I think people think that means everything's good all the time,
Mm,
and I've talked to a lot of people who read my book, and they get insights or whatever, and they're happy for months at a time, maybe even years. They think everything's great, but then the shit hits the fan, right? Something bad happens in life, as it will do, and they think, okay, life's not joyful anymore. And so so assuming that you're going to have a life that's just not a roller coaster is not what a joyful life is. It's really, for me, and I think I just been lucky that I naturally have always been kind of easygoing, and
right.
I just have always found joy in life, in little things and stuff like that. So it's more of it's an attitude, it's a state of mind. It's being grateful for, and naturally grateful. Not doing, I don't do grateful journals or whatever. It's just naturally, when good things happen and things just work out, and seeing the synchronicity and be like,
Mm,
wow, isn't it amazing? My husband and I have these chats at night when we're having dinner, and we think, and we look at, how we've ended up where we are, and you're like, but look at that happened, and that happened, and that happened, and all these things, and it's like, that is just so cool that
mm.
that life works out that way. But, and I don't know why. Like, is it because we were, you know, we're grateful, or is it because I don't know. But again, it's not like shit didn't happen. I mean, lots of shit happened. I have three grown adult kids, and
So shit has
yeah.
happened.
So there you go. Yeah, and yeah. So lots of stuff happens, but overall, when you look back, it's good. and
Mm,
and I think, yeah, and it's joyful, and I love that word, because that's more to me, that's different than just being happy, or something. That's your inner, that's our natural state of mind underneath all the thoughts and stuff going on in the head is the joy. It is underneath there, and you can have shit hitting the fan and at some level have some level of joy still in the background. Now that sounds weird because you don't you're it makes it sound like, oh, you're happy about this awful thing that's going on, and you're not, but I don't know, you just know it's just part of life, I guess. And
It's Jill, you've brought up stuff, words like appreciation have come up, gratefulness, the little things. And I want to, we want to keep these short and as succinct as we can, but I'm curious if you could say a little bit more about the distinction you see between happiness and joy. And you have already alluded to a little bit, but could you expand on that a tiny bit?
yeah, I think that the joy part is the maybe akin to peace of mind as opposed to happiness. And I've often used them interchangeably in the
Right.
past. Um, but if you want to be picky, like the joy is our natural state of mind,
Right.
and it's but for thoughts, you're joyful. But for thoughts that say you aren't, but for thoughts that say this is bad, or the other big piece is wanting things to be different than they are, right?
Mm,
Like without that, there's joy. If you can be accepting of what is, because it is what it is. I mean, I know people hate that phrase, it is what it is, but to me, that's kind of my motto in life. It is what it is. And because of that, there can still be joy after a time of getting used to whatever the is.
yeah, I like that, Jill. That resonates with me, that an appreciation or even gratefulness for what is, for this moment, this now, has in and of itself, there's joy in, I don't know how to articulate it either. You've done a good job, but there's something joyful in recognizing what is for what is without adding to it. I don't know.
What helps me too is I kind of over time, because I'm sort of into non-duality stuff a lot.
Mhm,
I listen
mhm.
to some of that stuff when I don't really, I mostly listen to to fiction books these days, but I'm still interested in non-duality, the Seth materials
Right.
and things like that, and of course in miracles. And so I really at some level believe that this whole world is a dream or a game or a book itself or a or a play or something like that, and somehow that helps me to be more joyful, because it's like, so what, I'm gonna wake up gonna wake up from this dream, or I'm gonna finish this game at some point. And I don't know, it just makes things lighter.
Yeah, I love the alluding to playfulness that's in there. I mean, we could spend hours talking about this, but for this particular video, the second question, Jill, is what advice would you give someone? And I hope that doesn't come off as contrary, but what advice would you give someone who is looking to live a more joyful life?
Yeah, I would say for me, what I've always seemed to have done naturally was really to follow your joy, like following
Mm,
your nose. What makes you happy? What what makes you happy? Do that. Like do more of that. Um,
mm.
find what you like, because like that's all I did my whole life, and I made tons of money by just doing what I love, because you're able to run on what I call passion power. When you're passionate
I
about
love that. Yeah.
it fuels you. Like you can
Mm,
do whatever. So do what you like. Sometimes there's things you don't like that are part of what you like. You gotta do the invoicing and things like that you
right.
hate. But if you're basically doing what you like, and as soon as that's not fun anymore, after you've given it a chance, then go on to the next thing. Like follow the fun. Um,
Mm.
is really my my advice to people. And then I don't know, you can't go wrong. Good stuff happens.
I can't add anything to that, Jill. I think we've come to a natural end there. Follow the fun is about Yeah, there's nothing left to say, is there? Thanks, Jill. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, and I hope that someone listens to this and it helps them maybe get a new perspective on joy or perceive their own joy a little bit differently. So thanks so much for being here, Jill. I really,
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
yeah, I appreciate it. And